welcome to Top Class Tokyo, a weekly podcast about life in Japan and the collision of Asian and American culture. I am your host, Kim, English teacher by day and by night, podcaster extraordinaire, broadcasting to you from Tokyo, Japan. Joining me today from sunny Los Angeles is my lovely co-host, Justine.
Hi.
Hello!
Hello.
Yay! Hello! Welcome everybody to today's very special episode about what is it? Throwback Isekai. Throwback Isekai animes we're talking about today. So for homework, if you listened to last episode, we watched class. Your homework is due. You were supposed to watch Super Mario Brothers, the 1993 classic.
God.
I'm
not gonna lie, it took me like 2 days to get through it because I fell asleep like
Oh.
halfway through.
Are you kidding me? I was riveted. I couldn't look away.
Oh my god, how? Like, I was watching through it and I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember any of this shit when I was a kid.
Dude, okay, like, I came in with very low expectations, and I remember watching certain scenes of it. I vividly remember certain scenes from this movie. And, like, going back, I was like, very low expectations. I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be trash, but, I'm gonna just keep an open mind and try to get through it. And honestly, I enjoyed it more watching it as an adult than just having like the few like pieces of memories that I had of this movie as a kid. I was just like, I actually like there's so many details that like you just miss or you just don't understand when you're a kid. But like now that I see it and watching the like extended rough cut version, it just explains like so much more lore about like why they made the choices they did in this movie, which are very confusing. Yeah, like so this episode is going to contain a lot of spoilers. So if you have not yet seen the original adaptation Super Mario Brothers, we will drop the link in the description below so you guys can actually watch it for free online, courtesy the Internet Archive, because I don't think this movie is so old it doesn't exist on any streaming platform, and like originally it came out on VHS. I don't know if it made it to Blu-ray. So like thankfully it's been preserved by hardcore Super Mario fans to this day, and now it's available online for generations of Nintendo fans to enjoy and appreciate the foundations, the ancestors. Respect your elders.
Oh god.
But yeah, like I enjoyed it so much. I was like having a really good time watching this movie.
I think I enjoyed the second half more than the first half. Like when they actually got to like Koopa Kingdom and shit.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I was just like so confused by the entire setup because I didn't really remember like what was going on and how it's such an like origin story for the Mario Brothers. Okay, so like if you're gonna watch this movie, you're gonna have to throw away everything you know about Super Mario Brothers, because especially in 1993, all that really existed was the original 8-bit NES game, because there wasn't anything like there were no other consoles, like they just didn't exist, right? Like there wasn't like GameCube, there wasn't N64, there weren't like all of these Nintendo titles that have built off of the Mario franchise. Like the only thing for source material was literally the side-scrolling game with very minimal like text and like story explanation, and it's literally just like the little like 8-bit character jumping around on bricks and like collecting coins and shit. So like I feel like that's part of the reason why a lot of this movie did not make any sense. Because they were just like, where do we go with this? Like, how do we take this? And I just kind of loved how they made it such an American story. Like, they really fleshed out the characters, and they made them not just Italian brothers, but like Italian American plumbers from fucking Brooklyn, New York.
My name is Mario. Mario. My name is Luigi Mario. I'm fucking cutting. I'm sorry.
No lie. Oh my god. Okay. What Justine is like losing her mind about is one of the scenes in this movie is actually one of the vivid memories I have of this film, because as a small child, even to me as a small child, this scene did not make any sense to me. And it's the scene where Mario and Luigi have finally made it into the Mushroom Kingdom, which is this like interdimensional. They've traveled through this interdimensional portal into this like bizarro New York, but it's actually the Mushroom Kingdom, and they get arrested by the cops, and they get taken into the precinct, and the cops are asking what their names are. And Mario has to explain his first name is Mario, his last name is Mario, and Luigi's name is Luigi Mario. So
I was like, is this real? And just the way they say Mario, Mario, with the accent.
Mario.
I was like, oh my god.
Mario.
All right, East Coast. I think that was
so
what fucking killed me, and I was just like, all right, we're a minute for the long run. Let's go.
That moment, that scene is crystallized in my memory because I distinctly remember that. So that was perfect. That scene played out. That was one of the highlights of the obviously of the film that has made it through the years, preserved perfectly in my memory since 1993. So
just in case you needed to know Mario's last name, it's Mario.
Just as like a general plot summary for the people who are just going ahead and or listening to this episode, basically so it's like they're two Italian American guys running a plumber business, and they kind of have this rivalry with this other plumber business, and then like they introduce Princess Daisy as like the main love interest for Luigi, and in the real New York, she's this kind of like paleontologist working with NYU, and she discovers these dinosaur bones, and it's kind of like, oh, this is a link to some like she's on the verge of making this new discovery, but at the site of the dinosaur dig, they discover that portal, and and then she gets kidnapped into the other world because the digging has actually broken through this barrier that has been separating the actual Mushroom Kingdom dimension. So it was like at the time of when the dinosaurs went extinct, they actually got thrown into an alternate universe due to the impact of the asteroid. So I don't know, I thought it was kind of a cool like origin story, mm-hmm. And like I thought that was a cool way of connecting like all these pieces, because it's like this is a Japanese game featuring Italian people, Italian plumbers,
Italian American plumbers.
And now they're in the movie given like this whole backstory for being Italian American plumbers, and it's all set in New York. So I don't know, I thought that was kind of cool. It has like other than that, like, there are so few actual game references in the actual movie. They like, there's not, they basically have no powers in the movie. And they're literally just plumbers. And actually Luigi is not even a real plumber. He's an apprentice. And yeah, there's just so many questions after watching this movie. But it's like, oh yeah. Did you read the long ass article that was underneath
No, I didn't.
the movie? Okay. I actually took the time to like read what the hell was going on, because it kind of explains on the website where this video is hosted why this movie was such a disaster. Like, critically, it was such a flop. It was like,
not
when
break
it came
even.
No, yeah, it was such a disaster financially, like critically. It was just such a disappointment. Even the actors hated it. And like, it was directed by this husband and wife team who were basically just incompetent, and
shut the fuck up. I have money. Do what I say.
the production studio had so many issues with trying to get like this. The script was like, I think Disney bought the rights to the movie and they were demanding changes. They wanted like a whole script rewrite, but at that time all the sets had already been built, so it was just all of this back and forth, and like, it was just really, really disorganized. And like, the original vision that the directors had for this story was this very post-apocalyptic Mad Max, very like adult cyberpunk kind of vibe, which isn't really what you think of when you think of the brand Super Mario, because this was meant to be a children's movie, right? And they were trying to basically produce like a dark, gritty, urban science fiction kind of noir film. So that's where I think the tone of the film is really kind of uneven, because you visually you do see that vibe where everything is like, they are literally in like a strip club kind of scene in one of the at one point in the film, where they're basically like fighting over like this special crystal that will that's like the key to merging the universes or whatever. But yeah, there's just so many strange things that happen in this movie. I can't even begin to explain, so you're just gonna have to watch it. And as for me, I would put this on my report card as a D+. I give Super Mario a D+, because I give it a passing grade because of what it did for its time in 1993 was absolutely groundbreaking, because it was really the first of its kind. And as far as like special effects goes, like, it was actually, I think the special effects are actually pretty good for 1993.
Yeah. That's something I do appreciate about it, is that it didn't look like what it was trying to perceive. It did it well enough for the means that they had. Like the slime, or what's the mushroom goo, whatever stuff.
The fungus?
Yeah, the fungus, yeah. So I felt like the fungus are good, Yoshi was good, no, even though the fucking Goombas look fucking creepy as shit, they were pretty good. Like, it makes me want to rewatch, what's it called? What's the little Gremlins? That's Gremlins, right? Gremlins. It makes me want to rewatch Gremlins, because, like, they use the same, like, or similar prosthetic, like, people, creature things for both of those characters. And I was just like, I just want to see how much better or worse they did, just because it's like around the same era as well.
Yeah, like Gremlins, kind of. I'm thinking of like the Labyrinth, Jim
Mm-hmm.
Henson. Kind of like there's a lot of they back in the day, you know, they relied a lot more on like actual props and uh less on like
CG,
post production. Yeah, because that kind of technology just didn't exist at the time. So yeah, just yeah, Super Mario Brothers D plus. I give it a D plus only on the strength of like if I had never seen this movie before, I probably would give it an F because there's just there's just so much time that has already passed. It's hard to kind of look
It's like
back on it now. You know what I mean?
it's like you're comparing freaking Mario Brothers to freaking Avatar, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And they're both what the fucks, but one what the fuck is like in better, like it's sparklier.
Yeah. 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 D plus. D plus. Watch it if you. I think the people who would enjoy this movie are hardcore Nintendo fans, fans of the '90s. I feel like fans of like it actually feels more like a superhero movie rather than like a video game movie.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like it didn't really have anything to compare itself to because in 1993 there really nothing else like this ever existed.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like it really deserves some credit because it kind of paved the way for greater things to come. So
it kind of makes me want to watch other live actions too. Like I don't know. I guess does Resident Evil count as live actions, and does Sonic? Sonic's definitely live action. But I don't know about Resident Evil because I feel like Resident Evil is like they've done that strategically enough where it loosely follows the game story depending on where you start for Resident Evil.
Yeah, I definitely think Resident Evil counts. Like that's
or Silent Hill.
That came out. Resident Evil. I remember the first Resident Evil I saw was probably around the early 2000s.
Okay.
So I feel like that already gives it like a 10-year head start on Super Mario Brothers because by then, like the gaming industry has already started to blow up. Like, technology and special effects have already advanced so much within that span of from the 90s to the 2000s. And like it's like the early days for gaming culture and like internet culture even at that time because even in 1993 like the internet just didn't even exist back in that days in those days, you know? So yeah, Super Mario Brothers, a classic. Give it a try. Give it a try and respect your elders. Up on the agenda for any other recent anime watches, I do have 2 isekai recommendations because I actually did watch some anime this weekend. One is I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level.
I don't think I've seen that one.
These are new ones that I've discovered recently. They don't have very many episodes out, so I think they're new releases. But this one is a slice of life, and it looks so cute. And I'm just like, oh my god! It's basically this office lady who dies of karoshi, which is death from overwork, which is a thing in Japan. And she is like rewarded for her like hard work and her like dedication by God, and she's reincarnated into her like fantasy world where she's granted immortality and magical powers, and she becomes this powerful witch who wants to like retire into the countryside and live this very peaceful, quiet life. But basically all she does is kill slimes every day. and after like 300 years pass, she maxes out her levels and eventually gains this reputation for being a very, very powerful magician. And she begins to get like sought out and basically like challenged to duels for all these other like adventurers who just want to fight her and like test their levels and like just see if they can beat her. So she's just like, it's interesting because it's like, can you actually escape real life? I don't know. It's kind of like an interesting message. And also I thought it was really cute because she sort of takes in this dragon girl as a pupil who wants to get trained by her. And I thought it was such a sweet message at the end of that episode where the dragon like is like just like any of these other adventurers who are really arrogant and they want to like beat her just to test their levels. But you know, after being defeated, she like wants to become her trainee basically. And she's like, I'll do anything, you know, like I'll work, you know, night and day, blah blah blah, to so that I can become like you. And then I thought it was such a nice message because the original office lady, who's now like a magic witch, she's like, no, that's exactly what I left behind in my old life, you know. And it's just like, I don't want you to work hard, and I want you to enjoy life and understand work-life balance. So like,
chill. Do what you want. Don't be my bitch. I don't want to be responsible for you.
So I'm giving that series a B, solid B, because there's only like 1 or 2 episodes out right now, and I think it started off really strong, and I'd really love to see where it goes.
What is it called again?
I've been killing slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. It's a blonde witch-looking girl.
Oh, she's cute.
I know, the art is really good, animation's really nice, really cute story. So it looks like it's very promising.
I was trying to figure out what random anime I wanted to watch, and I was going through let's see what's popular for winter 2022. And I didn't really see anything that I was like super like, ooh, I want to watch this. But I kind of wanted to start something new, so I'm just like, oh, this is cute, and the storyline sounds pretty cute too. So I'm inclined to pick it up.
Yeah, there's another isekai that I watched this weekend called Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout.
What?
So it's super long isekai titles, but like it's about these 2 office worker guys. They get transported to another world, and they're like best friends that grew up with each other, childhood buddies, and one of them is like this super popular, cold kind of guy who's not interested in women, but he's always taking care of his buddy. And the buddy is the one who gets turned into the Total Fantasy Knockout. He gets transformed into like this young girl, young magical girl, I guess. He doesn't really have, I guess he kind of have magical powers, but most of them are just based off of his looks and like charming whatever men speak to him or whatever. So, but it's interesting because it's like, it sort of turns into a rom-com because the buddies' gender changes and they kind of fall in love with each other. Because in the original world, it's like, the super popular cold guy was never interested in women, but he's always hanging out with his buddy, and it's kind of left unsaid whether or not he's actually interested in his friend as more than friends until they get into the new world, and then his friend changes into like a new body. So I'm just like, I'm just really interested in this premise because I'm like, this might be the first trans rom-com anime. I'm like, is this a trans rom-com anime? Because it's like actually a dude in a girl's body and they basically fall in love. And I'm like, has this ever been done before? And I don't think it has, because even with something like Ranma Half, the original love like relationship between the protagonist, Ranma, was as a heterosexual between him and his girlfriend before he changed bodies. So that's kind of like off the table already. Like, and I'm like, wait a minute. So is this? It's kind of like, is this a yaoi story and a trans rom-com anime? Because in the real world, they're both kind of like, it's kind of like, there's only 2 episodes out now, so it hasn't been totally fleshed out, but it's sort of like they're walking that very fine line, and then it's like, oh, doesn't matter anymore because now he's a girl. So, do you see what I mean? So I'm like, it's such an interesting premise. So I'm like, okay, I don't think anything has ever been done like this before. I really can't think of any other stories like this. So that's kind of that's why this series sort of stood out to me. And it's done really well. Nice art, nice anime. Solid B. I would upgrade it to an A. I would hold off on, upgrading it to an A. I would just like to see the rest of the series before I pass out those A's. So, yeah, 2 isekais. 2 very strong isekais out this season.
I'm like casually looking at the character design, and I think I like the Total Fantasy Knockout more.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I kind of prefer the other one because I think the witch is really cute.
But I think it's like too much cute. Like, I'm looking at this like group photo of like all the girls in it, and it's like, it's cute too, but at least their outfits are like a little more unique. This is because I'm like coming from is this cosplayable perspective instead of it's all cute. But I also like how there's like the token business suit guy, and I was just like, I always like business suits, so I'm more inclined to watch this one because business suit and outfits I feel like are more unique.
Yeah, well, yeah, the business suit guy, it's actually really funny. There's a lot of comedy involved because of how uncomfortable Japan is with homosexuality, I think. So I think that's where a lot of the humor comes from too. So, and like they're able to like talk about it in a way without, actually talking about it. Because it's like I feel like that's why anime is such like a safe space. Because it's like haha, this doesn't really exist. So, yeah, so recommended.
Now I have things to watch.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch that, what's the mafia guy that's a house husband?
Oh, yeah, I watched it and I'm like, it's kind of a pass.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I'm not into it. It's popular with a lot of people, but I watched a couple episodes and I'm just not into it. I just thought it was really kind of boring because it's just kind of like, watch this macho man do women's work, be a domestic housewife, and I'm just like, oh, not interesting. So, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think it was very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was bad and did not watch anime this week because I was busy recovering from watching Super Mario. I finished it on Wednesday and I was like, I did it. That's all that matters. Okay, time to self-care. We're gonna chill.
I'm glad you made it through. I'm proud of you, though. I'm like, you actually finished it, so I'm like, that's mission accomplished.
What else do we have to recover or review?
That's it for me. I needed to watch some new isekais just to get like my feet back on the ground after watching Super Mario Brothers.
I was literally there staring at the space and be like, I lived through that? That was the 90s? I was like, I have to sit through an hour and 20 of this? It was so wonky. Yeah, it was so wonky watching through the extended version, because the camera angles would cut out from the stuff they actually put in to the extra shit that they didn't put in. Okay, compare Super Mario Brother live action to Cowboy Bebop live action, the most recent one. I feel like I would have taken Mario over the Cowboy Bebop live action. I like the iconic part where they're finally in the green and blue suits, like 3/4 into the movie. That conveniently fit both of their body sizes from this random closet in the fucking Mushroom Kingdom. Oh, the 90s! Mario, the slime is trying to talk to us. I think it wants us, it's trying to help. They plucked one mushroom because the fungus gave it to them and they didn't do nothing with it. At least Bob-Omb got some action. But like, I honestly had like super Charlie the Unicorn flashbacks with the relationship between Mario and Luigi when they're going through the dungeon. Like, the whole time Mario is just like, this shit's not real, you tripping, none of this shit means anything, what the fuck going on? And Luigi's all like, believe in the fungus, follow your heart, Charlie. And like, literally, that's a vibe I had between the relationship between Mario and Luigi and the whole exploring this whole other dimension where the whole time Luigi's just like, Candy Mountain! They're going to Candy Mountain! Look at the magical Leopardon, Charlie! And then Mario's just like, Charlie's not gonna fuck this shit, and just like, oh my god. But literally, that's the vibe I had throughout the whole movie about like, Luigi's just rolling with the shit he can't explain, and then Mario's like, the fuck?
Yeah. That actually captures their dynamic pretty accurately. So. Yes, I don't want to spoil any more for our listeners, so go watch Super Mario Brothers. Click the link below. Not sponsored. All right. Finally, I think we can end here with some Q&A. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or requests for topics you'd like to hear more about, please reach out to us on our social media at Top Class Tokyo, on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, or send us an email at topclasstokyo@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and class is dismissed.
We did it! Woo!